Bien, bienvenue, bonjour, merci de nous rejoindre aujourd'hui en salle de presse pour notre point de presse quotidien. Nous sommes aujourd'hui le mardi 2 juin et non pas le lundi comme nous avons tous tendance à le penser aujourd'hui. Today is the last stretch of press conferences on the next generation EU announcements which were made last week. Again, you had a busy morning, and us as well. There is one last press conference this afternoon with Commissioners Wojciechowski and Sinkevicius. But before that, we will have our midday press briefing and start off, as usual, with some announcements. First, let me start with the agenda of tomorrow's college meeting. The college will launch the second phase of the consultation of social partners, European trade unions, and employers' organizations on how to ensure a fair minimum wage for all workers in the European Union. The college will discuss the main results of the first stage consultation and set out possible options that could be considered for initiative at EU level and which will be the subject of this consultation. I now call Johannes for some news from the digital world. Johannes.
Today, the Commission has launched a public consultation on the Digital Services Act. This is a key package announced by the President in her political guidelines. The consultation covers a vast array of topics that citizens and businesses face online in their daily life and work. Safety online, freedom of expression, fairness, and a level playing field in the digital economy. The consultations will inform our upcoming proposals on the Digital Services Act package. It will be open until the 8th of September, and more information is available in a press release. I have a second announcement for you. Tomorrow, the Commission will launch the fourth and for the time being last Wi-Fi for EU call, so municipalities can apply for vouchers to set up free Wi-Fi hotspots in public areas, so that can be town halls, libraries, museums, or parks, for example. The call will open tomorrow at 1 p.m. and will be open until Thursday, 5 p.m. So we announced this already today, so you can get prepared, or the municipalities can get prepared. So far, a total of 7,980 vouchers have been awarded. We have a map online that shows where these hotspots are, and we have more information online for municipalities, but also for journalists, and more information also in a daily news item.
Thank you, Johannes. I would now like to call Ariana up on stage for some news from the competition world.
Thank you, Eric, and good morning, everyone. The Commission launched today a separate public consultation on a possible new competition tool that should enable the Commission to deal with structural competition problems across markets that the current rules cannot tackle or cannot address in the most effective manner. After establishing a structural competition problem through a rigorous market investigation, during which right of defense are fully respected, the new tool should allow the Commission to impose behavioral and, where appropriate, structural remedies. The Commission is consulting stakeholders from the public and private sector, including competition authorities and government bodies, academia, as well as legal and economic practitioners. Stakeholders can submit their views on the inception impact assessment until 30 June 2020 and respond to the open public consultation until 8 September of this year.
Thank you, Ariana. This finishes our list of announcements for today. We are now ready for your questions. I see one hand raised from Sarantis Mikalopoulos. Sarantis. Press speak.
Can you hear me?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Perfect. It's a question on Turkey's announcement that it will soon start gas drillings in the Eastern Mediterranean in 3 or 4 months. My question is if sanctions are still on the table.
Okay, thank you. I think this is a question for Virginie or Peter. Virginie.
Sorry, I didn't hear on which country we are.
So,
Sorry.
so Turkey has announced that it will start drilling in 3 or 4 months, and the question from Sarantis is whether sanctions are on the table.
My apologies, I think it's actually for Peter.
As I said, we're Tuesday, but it feels like Monday. Peter.
Yes, hi, good afternoon. Indeed, I mean, this is an issue which was raised during the press conference a short while ago by the High Representative, and he was answering this question, so I would just refer you to his replies to this question.
Okay, all right.
Sorry, but my question was different. Well, my question was whether sanctions are still on the table.
Peter?
Well, I can only repeat. I mean, this issue was also tackled by the High Representative when he was referring to the decisions and conclusions which were made by the EU in this regard. The EU is following this issue very quickly. The latest statement by the foreign ministers, as published on the 15th of May, still stands. And there, the ministers were very clear that they are watching this issue and that the member states and the Council will get back to it if necessary. So, I mean, talking about sanctions right now is something which is premature because the ministers were very clear and the member states were very clear what they expect from Turkey, and they are continuing their discussions and exchanges about the best way how to do what to do in terms of next steps. So let's not preempt, and I can only refer you again to the words of the High Representative and to the exact text of the statement by the foreign ministers on this issue from the 15th of May.
Okay, thank you. Are there other foreign relation related questions? But, sorry, because my screen has gone blank. Paola, is it a foreign relations question?
You hear me? No, it's not. I'll come back later.
Okay. Samuel.
Bonjour Eric, ma question c'est une question Brexit, est-ce que je la pose maintenant?
Non, alors attends, parce qu'on va rester, on va voir s'il y a des questions Foreign Affairs. Ça n'est pas le cas, donc je retourne à Paola. Ah, oui. Sorry, Patricia, was your question on Foreign Affairs?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's about borders.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so we start with Paola. Paola, press the speak button.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. My question is related to declarations by Deputy Director General Cecilio Madero Villarejo, which were produced in Spanish media and in which he describes the management of the crisis by Spanish President, Minister President Pedro Sanchez as manifesting competence and that he suffers from some mental alienation. I wonder if the Commission has anything to comment on that, and specifically whether the Deputy Director General has sought approval for writing this in the Spanish press. Thanks.
Thank you. I call Balázs.
Hi, Paula. Good afternoon. Well, all I can say is that the Commission has taken note of the letter published by Cecilio Madero Villarejo. We note that Mr. Madero published this letter in his private capacity. It is therefore clear that this does not reflect the Commission's official position.
A follow-up?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Paula.
I'm not entirely sure, but if I remember correctly, EU staff regulation requires that when staff takes initiatives of this kind in a private capacity, they seek clearance. And I wonder if Mr. Madero has done so. Thank you.
Maybe I can just to be very clear about the staff regulation and the part of it which concerns this matter. I can invoke this part of the this part of the statute. So the staff regulation provides that the freedom of expression of EU officials is not absolute and should be exercised with due respect to the principles of loyalty and impartiality. Officials are required to express themselves with caution, carefulness and moderation, and a due sense of proportion, and avoid any act or behavior which might reflect adversely upon their position and the Commission. And of course, such obligations, which constitute restrictions on the exercise of freedom of expression, are intended to preserve the relationship of trust which must exist between the institution and its officials.
Paula, to answer your
Thank you. So
question,
would you say that?
Paula, to
Yeah,
answer your
so I just
question,
want-
I believe that Mr. Madero did not seek authorization. He published his letter as a private citizen.
May I have a very quick follow-up just
ahead.
on the rules that you just listed, Balázs? If, to me, they manifestly don't meet these requirements, so would you be able to comment specifically whether he followed the rules in the staff regulation on this? Thanks.
Well, all I can say is that the Commission is looking into this matter.
Thank you, Paula. So I would now like to move back to Samuel. Appuie sur Speak, s'il te plaît.
Ça marche?
Ça marche.
Bonjour à tous. Donc, ma question concerne le Brexit et la reprise des négociations entre les deux équipes. Je voulais savoir si tu pouvais confirmer qu'une rencontre entre Madame von der Leyen et Boris Johnson va avoir lieu un peu plus tard ce mois-ci, comme plusieurs médias britanniques l'annoncent en citant des sources britanniques. Et à quelle date ça pourrait avoir lieu, si effectivement des contacts ont été pris pour qu'une telle réunion puisse se dérouler bientôt, afin d'aider les négociations à repartir du bon pied.
Je vais passer la parole à Daniel Ferry, sur ce sujet, mais pour rappel, il y a dans la déclaration politique qui a accompagné l'accord de retrait des États-Unis une mention d'une rencontre à haut niveau qui doit être organisée ou qui est prévue pour le mois de juin. Donc ce n'est pas breaking news en quelque sorte. Mais je passe la parole à Dan.
Oui, merci Eric et bonjour Samuel. En fait, je n'ai pas grand-chose à ajouter. Je pense que j'ai eu l'opportunité jeudi dernier de répondre à cette question. À ce stade, je ne peux pas confirmer une date d'une telle réunion, ni le format. Mais restons en contact et on peut confirmer quand on peut. Merci.
Ok, merci. Je passe maintenant la parole. Je reviens à Patricia qui avait des questions sur les frontières.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Patricia.
Thank you. Italy has had some issues with the reopening of the internal borders, some issues with some member states, namely Austria, for example. And I would like to know what are the Commission efforts to coordinate the reopening of the borders, and what is the state of play? Since in a couple of days there will also be the Home Affairs Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. I believe we have described in a lot of detail the efforts that we make to coordinate the efforts between member states on border management. But I will ask Adalbert to give us the latest in this area.
Of course. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for this question, Patricia. And indeed, so starting from the situation where at the beginning member states were introducing border controls in a rather uncoordinated way, we've moved ahead quite far after member states have requested the Commission to start coordinating, and At this point, we are really stepping up our efforts to coordinate the opening of or the lifting of restrictions following the communication that we adopted on the 13th of May regarding the progressive restoration of full free movement. So just as a reminder, last week we had 2 video conferences on technical level about this issue. And at that point, we, at the last one, we, among others, recalled that the internal border controls must always be applied in full respect of the non-discrimination and proportionality principles, that they have to be coordinated. The Commission also referred at that point to the need for flexibility in case strict measures need to be reinstated. And we also discussed with member states the need to indeed step up the coordination of lifting of restrictions, taking into account criteria including the epidemiological situation, physical distancing and containment, as well as economic and social considerations in line with the communication that we adopted on the 13th of May. And so these very intensive discussions continue. We've this morning, there's been a meeting of the IPCR in the Council, the Integrated Political Crisis Response, discussing this issue among others. There will be a COREPER discussion with borders issues on the agenda. There will be a video conference again on the technical level on borders, and all of this in advance of the Justice and Home Affairs Council that you referred to later this week. So very intense work from the Commission on that front.
Thank you, Adalbert. I only see one other hand raised.
Sorry.
Yeah, Patricia, you want to follow up? Patricia? I think you muted your own mic. Go ahead. Press speak.
I pressed it. Do you hear me now?
We do indeed.
Okay. I would like, if it's possible, that the Commission assess what happened with Italy and Austria in the past days. Could you tell me something? What is your opinion of the issues that were raised for not opening to Italy? Thank you.
Adalbert.
Thank you, Patricia. Look, so far we haven't really been able to comment on the individual measures and individual approaches that member states this issue is first member states.
Sorry, Adalbert, can you start over? We had, no, I think we're having some technical problems.
Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I can't see you, but that's. I think that's okay. So as I was saying, we haven't so far been commenting on the individual measures and approaches taken by member states. The approach that we've taken as Commission has been to present to member states guidelines about the kinds of ways they should use to manage this issue, and insisting there on very important principles such as non-discrimination in particular. In this respect, importantly, non-discrimination between citizens, so no discrimination based on nationality, but also non-discrimination in the sense that if measures are lifted towards a specific region in the EU, the same treatment should be given to all regions around the EU, regardless of geography, that have the same epidemiological situation. So based on these principles, we've been discussing with member states in a very intensive way how they should approach things, and we will continue to do so as I just described.
Thank you, Adalbert. I only see one hand raised. David.
Oui, merci Eric et bonjour. Question toujours pour Adalbert et en partie pour toi aussi, je crois. La première question, c'est est-ce que vous pensez que les États membres sont en train de suivre vos recommandations? On a vu la France refouler des Belges pendant le week-end parce que le gouvernement belge avait annoncé l'ouverture de la frontière pour rencontrer la famille et faire des courses, mais les Français n'étaient apparemment pas informés. On voit des polémiques en Italie, pas seulement sur l'Autriche, mais aussi sur la Grèce, qui a pris une liste d'aéroports sûrs et d'autres qui ne sont pas sûrs, et donc en partie l'Italie est exclue de cette liste et des Italiens devront faire de la quarantaine. Enfin, est-ce que votre approche est en train d'amener les résultats que vous souhaitez? Et deuxième question, c'est plutôt pour toi, Eric, parce que est-ce que on entend déjà dire, bon, il y a un problème de manque de coordination au niveau européen, même si vous faites des efforts qui sont importants. En cas de deuxième vague, qui aura la responsabilité, en fait, si quelque chose se passe mal? L'Union européenne, la Commission européenne, les États membres? Parce que déjà une fois, on a vu accuser l'Union européenne de rien faire, et après ce matin, correctement, le commissaire Lenarčič nous a dit, le 29 janvier, nous, on avait lancé un avertissement, mais personne n'avait écouté. Merci.
Adalbert, sur la première partie de la question, sur la première question.
Est-ce que vous m'entendez? Je crois avoir perdu la connexion.
Oui, voilà, déconnecte peut-être ta caméra parce qu'il semble... Voilà, on a déconnecté ta
parfait.
caméra pour améliorer le son. Vas-y.
Super, merci. Oui, donc David, je pense que tu as toi-même posé un diagnostic qui est vrai, et qu'il y a effectivement toujours des problèmes, des questions qui ne sont pas complètement résolues entre États membres, y compris dans la communication entre États membres voisins qui n'est pas toujours non plus parfaite. Et je pense que c'est précisément pour cette raison que le besoin de coordination accru de la part de la Commission est constant, et c'est pour cette raison-là aussi que nous allons entreprendre tous ces efforts supplémentaires que je viens d'énumérer. Ceci dit, je pense que autant nous voyons toujours beaucoup de rapports dans la presse, des problèmes, de mauvaise communication entre États membres, etc. Autant il y a aussi énormément de bons exemples de coordination entre États membres et coordination au niveau européen, y compris grâce aux efforts de la Commission, y compris grâce aux guidelines, l'orientation que nous avons publiées. Donc c'est du travail qui est en cours, mais qui a tout de même porter ses fruits. Merci.
Merci Adalbert. Et David, pour revenir sur ta deuxième question, sur une responsabilité éventuelle en cas de deuxième vague de la pandémie, tu l'as dit toi-même, l'Union européenne a un rôle de coordination. Elle n'a en quelque sorte que ce rôle de coordination. Elle est allée au maximum de ce qu'elle pouvait faire dans ce rôle de coordination. Mais l'Union européenne, ce ne sont pas que les institutions, ce sont aussi, comme tu l'as très justement dit, les États membres qui sont des acteurs au sens plein du terme du système institutionnel de l'Union européenne. Et donc il revient à chacun d'exercer les responsabilités qui lui correspondent dans cette chaîne de coordination, de responsabilité, de mise en œuvre des politiques de l'Union européenne. Donc nous essayons de faire en sorte qu'il y ait des orientations les plus claires possibles transmises aux États membres. Nous l'avons fait le 13, tu t'en souviendras, le 13 mai. Nous sommes en contact permanent avec les États membres afin de nous assurer qu'ils puissent avoir à leur disposition les informations nécessaires et les forums nécessaires pour pouvoir se coordonner. Mais au bout du compte, il revient à chacun de prendre les décisions qui lui incombent. Voilà, je ne vois pas d'autres questions pour nous aujourd'hui. Donc, je vous remercie. Nous nous verrons demain pour le briefing après la réunion du collège. Et cet après-midi, vous avez donc encore une conférence de presse avec le commissaire à 1h, à 13h, avec le commissaire Wojciechowski et Sienkiewicz. Merci beaucoup. À demain.